Hi, my name's Saoirse and I'm here with Harrow TV. Today I'm in Harrow and I'm asking local residents their opinions on the police.
In a way, yes, because I feel like at least we've got somebody we can contact in case of an emergency, if anything goes wrong.
Not entirely, no. I feel as a black man, there's always a preconception when they see me. I'm from an area where there's a lot of police, Tottenham. We've got a lot of history of the police in Tottenham as well, a lot of the locals. So I feel maybe that influences my decision. But you know, I know they do their job and they're always there. So I appreciate what they do. But from my particular walk of life, there's always a question mark hanging over their heads.
Like when you call 999, or if you're in an emergency, at least there's someone there, especially if you're away from home.
I'd say so because I've got injured a couple of times, and if it wasn't for the police, I would have just been lying there on the streets. The public don't really want to do much. It's the police that will come through to help you.
Yes, I do trust the police. On the whole, they have a very difficult job, and it's a very delicate balancing act that they have. But on balance, I'm convinced that they are, that they do a good job.
I have, yes. I've been stopped and searched a few times. I've come from the areas that I come from. Sometimes you're wearing a tracksuit and it's late and you might fit the description supposedly. I wouldn't say I've been handled in a way where it's been traumatising or detained for any particular reason, but I've been questioned sometimes, which you feel isn't by the book. Sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do, and when you're dealing with criminals, I guess you've got to kind of get in and amongst all of that. But I feel sometimes I've been targeted. They jumped out the van at me in January this year, asking me questions. It was quite an aggressive approach. Obviously, I know my rights, so I knew what I could say to them. But to someone that might be a bit younger than me and not know their rights, they might be able to get out of them things that they shouldn't be getting or they don't have the right to get. And like you're saying yourself, intimidating them. So yeah, I just feel perhaps the police, there is a bit of a way to go.
Negative encounters, they do sometimes. I've seen it with one of my friends. One individual, he likes to pick on them, going again and again saying you can't be here. Well, he lives there. He doesn't have any asbos or anything to not be there. But they still pick on him, saying, no, you can't be here, just because he has a lack of English and he can't argue back, to show his power. That's one thing I've seen.
I think there is a degree of truth there. It's getting better. From an ethnic perspective, I felt the way to improve the police was to have more people in the police that represent other types of people. But I'm also aware that when you do have that, there's banter that goes on in there and isolation, when you're part of the team. Not maybe to feel the same as others, so I would say there is. And also from a progression point of view, you don't really see black leaders in the police or in any sort of whether you're in City Hall, not a lot of leading figures, so I would agree with that statement. But I feel there is progress. I'm in Tottenham. When I was stopped last year, it wasn't that bad. It was just because there was a smell of marijuana around and I was sat in that area. They were very nice, and there was a man with dreadlocks, so there's people that are getting into the police, so that's the only real way I think there could be a tangible difference. So there is definitely institutional racism, but there is everywhere.
Not any personal experience, but I know people who have been just stopped and searched randomly purely because of their skin colour, of how they're dressed, and for no reason. Like they're there, standing at the bus stop, waiting for someone, whatever.
But even when you try to escalate something, it's trying to say that, oh, maybe it wasn't like a racial attack. So I've had like my scarf taken off so many times. But probably, really? By the police? So like, no, by like strangers. But then after like once or twice, when you tell someone, it's like, what were you doing at that time? Maybe you were in the wrong time, wrong place. What did you say? Were you in the way? Like things that lead you, or maybe it wasn't like, maybe I instigated it, but it's not. I was literally minding my own business, trying to get some chocos, and next thing I know, my hair's out.
It is something I know something about. I have friends and colleagues who are in minority ethnic groups, okay, right, who have had very negative, and people I trust, okay, right, who've had very negative experiences with the police and a feeling of being unfairly treated by those groups. And since I trust those people, okay, they're people I work closely with and friends, I understand that's their experience. So that's not personal experience, but it's from people I trust. And also, I've read about these issues, okay, and I've read books by people of particular ethnic groups, okay, who describe their experience, and I'm sympathetic with them and realise that's something that has to be addressed. Well, I think probably the biggest thing is to do more of the community policing. I mean, where I live, there's a local community police people who come around and talk to people, and but where I live, it's not a particular issue, okay, right? You need to do that in places where getting involved in local communities, as they're doing in some areas, okay, right? and involving with the young people in the groups. The police to understand why what they do sometimes is deeply resented by those communities and looked upon.
Possibly more training, maybe,
and
and
more understanding.
understanding, yeah.
Even at the interview stage, I feel like some people, they go into the job, they need a lot of people now, innit? Because a lot of them have been laid off, COVID and all that, which is fine, they get the understaffed, everyone's understaffed, but even at the interview stage, having some kind of like training or test to make sure they're not got something they're hiding, I don't know, something like that, but I feel like most of it is high risk
Especially with all
anyway.
these problems that are coming out with police officers, like raping girls and doing drugs. Yeah, actually, maybe I don't trust them.
Back to the first
Maybe I don't
question,
trust
yeah.
them. Back to the first question. Yeah, maybe I don't trust
A lot of
them.
corruption.
Yeah.
A greater participation of the police, in the communities, more ethnic minority representation at middle to senior levels, which there isn't enough. The rank and file of the police should be representative of the local areas that they're in. So Harrow, for example, has huge Asian and, for example, East European populations. There should be some reflection of that.
To improve the police service, to be honest with you, there needs to be more police on the streets again. If not, then so much crime is getting away with and there's not much there.
Their relationship with people of a certain maybe demographic or from certain areas could improve. And that's not just black people, whether it's Asian or anyone else who is now prominent in this country, where I work is a bank and it's a very strong Asian demographic here. We put Asian people in the poster because it represents the place that we are in, You have to kind of pay homage to people that contribute to the day-to-day to life. So I think the police is missing that bit of perspective, but we'll see how they get on. Everything's out there for everyone to see now, so there's nowhere to hide, I suppose. So yeah.